Okay, so for a while when I was in the hospital, um, I I remember this, so I don't know if it's a memory or if this happened in my head. But I remember being in the hospital room, and I felt like God was, um, he said I'm a time traveler. Okay, so I'm a time traveler. I got it. But I wanted out of the current reality because the current reality was in a hospital, was not very comfortable. I had just like it was just not a good time, and so I wanted out of that reality. And God told me I was a time traveler, and then um, so but I went out of there, and I don't remember why, but he kept telling me like, no, I don't even know how to say this. Um, okay, so in the hospital room, laying in a hospital bed, um, and I keep pushing the intercom button to get the nurses, and I push the button, and then I flip it off. Okay, I know they can't see me, but they have cameras in the room monitoring like me because I'm a patient, but I have bipolar and I do crazy shit all the time, like break my IVs and stuff. And so they've got me monitored. Um, but every time I push the button to get a nurse, the call button, then I flip it off. um, Even though they can't see what I'm doing, because supposedly, because it's just a hospital bed intercom. Oh, sorry. But anyway, so I can't. They can't see what I'm like, but they can actually see what I'm doing because I'm being monitored because I'm so crazy. Okay, so they can see that I'm flipping them off every time, and I keep doing it because every time that I press the button, then God is doing, like, he says, like, you have to wait on the Lord. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, all that stuff. Okay, so, but also, like, every time I pushed the button, something was supposed to happen. Oh, I was supposed to switch realities. I was supposed to get to go on to the next dimension. That was like my test of faith or whatever. That I was supposed to get to go on to the next dimension. Okay, if this is just a bubble and it can pop, let's pop this bubble and get me on to a different life. Okay, that's what I wanted. That's what I was going for. Because I was tired of being in the hospital, and so I would flip it off because that's what I thought I had to do to prove, like, that I was ballsy, basically. And so I kept doing that, but it never got me out of that dimension. I stuck there in the hospital until I, like, cross-contaminated myself, um, and then I died. And then, but it wasn't really, like, I didn't really die, and I didn't really cross-contaminate myself. But I mean, in the meantime, so I know I'm a time traveler. I know I'm um, stuck in this dimension that I can't get out of it. I was in a hospital room, but it was the weird thing about that time, just that for that, like, moment, then I didn't think about the actual reality, like the fact I'm a mom. I have a life. There's like a real reality, okay? And then there is this dimension that you just interact with God, and you do what He wants you to do. And like, okay, so one time He wanted me to. I was just sitting on the toilet, just sitting there, and using the toilet, and then next thing you know, I was kneeling and then lying on the floor, like face down on the floor. All of a sudden, and it wasn't like I had fallen, it was like I went from sitting position to a kneeling position to on the floor, face down, and it wasn't like I was consciously doing it. My body was doing it. I was submitting to God, like, or I really feel like, like, when you recognize what it actually is, like, you realize the power, it's just so much bigger than you are, and it just can knock you, can literally put you on the floor. And but like, that's life, that's reality, that's my truth. I have crazy stuff happen to me all the time. Like, I am crazy, I have bipolar, I have multiple sclerosis, I take tons of medications, but I also am in love with God and Jesus, and they do a bunch of really weird stuff, like he didn't make me flip off the hospital people. He was like laughing about it. Okay, he was laughing, but he didn't make me do it. I just wanted to get out of that dimension, and I couldn't get out of the dimension. Every time I would do this thing, like, to prove I'm like, okay, I'm done with this thing. Like, if I have a 3-second life, okay, because I'm a time traveler, I had something, like, I had a longer life, and then I had a 3-second one, and it was supposed to be, I was supposed to be able to get out, but I couldn't, and then I don't even know what happened after that. So my memory of my hospital experience is so fractured. It's because I remember I had sitters, I had people sitting with me to make sure I wasn't doing anything crazy, but I know that's real. I know for sure it's real. But I also remember throwing myself off the hospital bed, kind of. I remember flipping over the bed. I remember there was a pillow underneath, which was awesome. Like, God put a pillow right there, which is so cool. But, and then I don't remember what happened after that. Like, I don't remember the nurses coming in and picking me up and all that stuff. I kind of remember some kind of crowd, but it's peacey. And like, but the whole hospital stay, and I was in the hospital for like 2 months, pretty much, and the whole thing is like a jigsaw puzzle, and I only have half the pieces, and so I gotta figure out which pieces, how they go together, and how to turn them around and make them work somehow. But anyway, I don't know, like, the whole point of that thing. It's just that God is weird, Jesus is weird. Like, seriously, I think Katy Perry's song E.T. is actually about Jesus.